Hello, Squirrel Tribe. It is Thursday, July 25th. Yesterday was Wednesday, July 24th, a day that many people were waiting for, the day that they told us we would see President Joe Biden again in the Oval Office to give an address on why he dropped out of the presidential race, why he took his name off the Democrat ballot, and basically where he's been for the last week and a half since he was diagnosed with COVID in Las Vegas on July 17th or 18th. I'm not 100% sure which day it was. I can't remember. It was a Tuesday, I believe. Maybe it was a Wednesday. It was one of those two. And I want to just start off with saying I'm still not convinced. I am still not convinced that who we saw last night was who they say it was. And I'm not even convinced that he was in the Oval Office like they say he was, for numerous reasons. And I know a lot of people have been talking about this all over social media, especially on X. There's been a lot of people talking about the fact that if you watch the presidential address last night that started promptly on time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time, which is where I am. It started right on time and it ended right on time and it immediately went back to whatever host was showing it to you, whether it was CNN or MSNBC, ABC, whatever. There was no delay, there was no lag, there was no nothing, right? But what I noticed while watching the address last night were a few different things. Number one, I just want to point out this post from Benny Johnson on X, and I want to show you what I remember Biden looking like in the Barack Obama days, okay? You guys are going to know exactly what's going on here. When you see that, I know people change as they get older. I'm fully aware that how somebody looks will change as they get older. The smile is kind of ish the same. The chin is different. The nose is different. The ears are different. The eyes are different. It's creepy to me. When I saw this, and I'm probably going to go to hell for this, just so we're all fully aware. When I saw this, this was the first thing I thought of. Let me show you. I have a lot to show you here, but if you've ever seen the movie Poltergeist, you've probably already thought it yourself. Somebody actually took Biden's face and put it on there, but it reminded me of Poltergeist. That's all I could think of when I saw Biden's face. Another thing I noticed while looking at Biden's face, let's see if I can get this to zoom in a little bit more. It's harder to tell here, but do you guys see that? That is a bruise on that man's chin. It looks like a bruise up where his creases are on his forehead. Come back. It looks like either he had a fall at some point or somebody beat the crap out of Joe Biden. That's what it looks like to me. Also, if you look at his watch, the thing was supposed to start 8 o'clock Eastern time, right? According to this, if you look at the watch, it's hard to do. This is very difficult. You see the picture of the watch right there? That says that it is 6:10 because the little roundy thing is on the inside. So that clearly says that it is technically it says like 6:12 p.m. on his wrist. But then later on during the broadcast, the watch looks kind of correct. It's hard to tell. He doesn't move his hands the same way as we're used to seeing. There was a little bit of this, there was a lot of this, but his movements to me didn't feel right, didn't feel normal. He stumbled over words like he normally would, which also led me to believe that, again, that phone call that Kamala almost messed up instead of recorded, that phone call to Kamala's little campaign thing that she had a couple days ago, I said it did not sound like him because it was too cohesive. It made too much sense, too coherent, and he was able to rattle off all things without having to stumble or pause or anything. It didn't seem right. Last night still didn't seem like him, but more so. But it's very interesting, the things that he said in last night's speech. I just want to give you a little taste of it. I've got the link to it, but I also copied the whole entire thing just so I could read you this, because there's a part in here, the whole thing was whatever, but there's a part in here that really stuck with me out of everything that he said. One, it sounded kind of like a farewell in general. A lot of people are saying that he is terminally ill. A lot of people are saying it's not even Biden that spoke last night, it's somebody else. I can't really fully voice my opinion because YouTube has been removing videos for my opinion because they don't like the fact that I have said that I think Biden is already no longer breathing. Hopefully I can get away with that. I don't know what AI is going to pick up. But A lot of people are saying that he's either terminally ill or that, and that the whole entire speech last night was more of a farewell, kind of like when your family shows up and they're listening to you read your will, or somebody read your will. His family was, in theory, there. They've showed pictures of Jill Biden and everybody else, Hunter and everybody else there, and everybody's bawling and they're crying and they're whatever. And it's like, okay, are they crying because they know that this man is literally on his last leg? Or is it because they're worried about the cash cow drying up? Is Hunter worried because there goes his pardon or whatever else, his ability to stay out of jail? Last night was very interesting to me, no matter what. So his speech, my fellow Americans, I'm speaking to you tonight from behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office. Why do you need to phrase that? We know where you are if that's really where you are. I was like, you want us to believe it because that's not where you are. A lot of people are saying that it looked green screened, that the window behind him looked not real. The photos on the desk are not the same photos that have been there from other addresses from the Oval Office, pictures from the Oval Office. They were completely different pictures on the desk behind him. So that was a little different. People talked about how his fingers looked different. He looked like he doesn't look like he did the last time we saw him at the debate. That's clearly obvious. Anybody can look at him and realize that. They said he looks darker, like he's got a tan. Well, I'm sure they gave him a little bit of a spray tan, maybe to cover up more bruising and more issues with his face, so he didn't look nearly as sick or whatever as he might possibly be. But again, back to this. He says, I'm in this sacred space. I'm surrounded by portraits of extraordinary American presidents. Thomas Jefferson wrote the immortal words that guide this nation. George Washington showed us presidents are not kings. Abraham Lincoln implored us to reject malice. Franklin Roosevelt inspired us to reject fear. And then he does his whole speech. But what got me is at the very end of his speech, he says, I'm the first president of this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world. He said that, and my very first thought was, sir, it's because we're at war within our own borders. You can say all day long that we're not at war with anybody else in the world. It's because you're allowing the war to happen within our borders. This is what I really want to talk about. Not even his speech last night. Because while everyone was focused on Biden yesterday, myself included, so many things happened to prove that the war is here on our land. It is in the United States of America. It's not over in China. It's not even in Ukraine. It's not in Russia. It's not anywhere else. It's literally inside our own country. So let me show you this. I hope there's volume. Where are you at, volume? Oh, wait, this one doesn't need volume. But either way, this is what happened yesterday while we were focused on Biden. Listen, breaking. Fighter jets scrambled after NORAD detects and intercepts 2 Russian and 2 Chinese, hello, come back, I hit a button, 2 Chinese strategic bombers in Alaska Air Defense Zone. Because we know China and Russia are working together, okay? According to reports earlier today, on July 24th, 2024, the same day that the world and the United States was focused on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and whatever else, and nothing else besides that mattered, NORAD detected, tracked, and intercepted 2 Russian Tu-95 bombers and 2 PRC-H-6 strategic bombers operating in the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone. NORAD fighter jets from both the United States and Canada were dispatched to conduct the intercept. According to military officials, the Russian and PRC aircraft remained within international airspace and did not enter American or Canadian sovereign airspace. This activity by Russian and PRC aircraft in the Alaska ADIZ or ADIZ, I don't know if it's a letters or word, is not considered a direct threat, but it's still huge. Again, they might not consider it a direct threat, or whoever's writing this doesn't consider it a direct threat, but the fact of the matter is, this is where they were. Why do they need to be that close? We had Russian warships near Cuba, Miami area, like right smack in between there, not too long ago. We've had issues over near Alaska already, and now you have this again. It is not a good look, okay? So not only did we have that yesterday, when I saw this, I just want to say that not much makes my blood boil. There's things that piss me off, but I know how to control my emotions. Sometimes. Y'all met me. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can't. But this right here, let me show you. Let me show you this. This is what was happening yesterday in DC, if I can get the internet to work. They are vandalizing monuments. They are vandalizing monuments in Washington. Yesterday, while we're waiting on Joe Biden to give his speech, they are vandalizing. They are, pro-Hamas and everything else. They are literally defacing things in Washington, monuments in Washington. And every historical monument in DC is being vandalized with no intervention from the police. The police were saying that it was a peaceful protest or whatever else because no violence had ensued. Do you not understand that vandalism is a different form of violence? Just because somebody's not getting punched in the throat does not mean it's not vandalism or violence. And that should have been stopped immediately. Let me show you this one here. This one will really make you happy. Then you had, listen, this one says, if this doesn't convince you of the need for mass deportations, nothing will. They pulled down 3 American flags in Union Station in DC. They pulled down 3 American flags and set them on fire to raise pro-Palestinian flags. And you want to tell me, Joe Biden, that we haven't gone to war while you've been in office? We are at war in our own country. That is way worse than going to war over there, wherever there may be, in my opinion. Because again, the Trojan horse that Biden has started, has led in, it's destroying us from the inside. Physical proof of the destruction from the inside, thanks to the presidency that we have right now, thanks to the wokeness that we have right now, thanks to the lack of borders that we have right now, thanks to the lack of common sense that we have right now, thanks to the lack of just any sort of values or morals that we have right now, thanks to the president and everybody that supports him and everybody like him. This to me is absolutely horrific. I will say, thankfully though, we had, after the pro-Hamas protesters took down the American flags at Union Station and burned them and raised Palestinian flags, you have American flags once again flying over Union Station, thanks to Speaker Johnson and a group of House Republicans that went out, raised the flags, and then stood there for the Pledge of Allegiance. This is absolutely crazy to me that this is where we are. Inside our own country, this is where we are. This is why this makes sense. So it really makes this moment from Donald Trump stand out to me. They clearly want, hold on, what just happened? No, I hit a button. Stop going buttons. No, wait, pause, hold on. I hit a button that tried to like zoom something. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so this moment from Donald Trump stands out to me. They clearly want the fall of America. That's what I get right now from the left. They want the fall of America. Why you would want that, I have no idea. It's got to be a monetary gain for everybody involved. It's got to be something trying to get to this one world order or something along those lines, because it makes no sense why everything is happening the way it is unless it's designed for the destruction of America. Donald Trump, though, they clearly want the fall of America, and he is doing all he can to ensure that doesn't happen. Let me see if I can get this to play. Play? Volume?
They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. Then in the end, they're not after me, they're after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way. That's true.
And that's exactly what it is. That's why they tried to take him out. It's not because they don't like him. It's because he's standing in the way of the destruction that they are trying to create. So they tried to take him out. There's this clip that some guy on Fox News or Washington something or other, I don't even know, with George Stephanopoulos, said something along the lines of, it sounds like the government's plan to assassinate Donald Trump. He said the gunman, but literally the way he slurred that one word sounded like he said the government's plan to assassinate Donald Trump. That's all I can hear, because it's what I think is exactly what happened. That's why they let Kimberly Cheadle get away with everything and then finally let her resign so that she still gets her pension after that entire F-up in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th and the assassination attempt of Donald Trump. All of this, and I've said it before and I'll continue to say it, is the biggest circus I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been to the actual circus with the clowns, and 75 of them get out of that little car and you can't figure out how, and elephants are going through hoops and whatever else. This is a bigger circus. And unfortunately, I didn't want a seat to the circus. I had no desire to be part of this circus, and yet here we are against our will, part of this circus that the Democrats are throwing in our face. How do we stop it? You get them out of the office. Whether you want a Republican or not, you have to step back and look at the fact that They are ruining our country. They are literally burning our flags. They are literally defacing monuments, everything for a country that's not ours in protest of something that we have not done and we are not doing. Make it make sense, because to me, it does not. It does not make sense to me. The next couple of days, I think, are going to be extremely interesting. Today, Jill Biden got in her, Air Force One or private jet. I don't know how she got there, but she's now at the Paris Olympics. Side note, did y'all see who carried in the torch in Paris, the beginning of the Olympic flame or whatever? I'm just going to tell you. I'm not even going to show you. I'll let you look it up, or I'll show you in the next video. But the beginning of the torch pass was some athlete, I think, and either a drag queen or a transgender. I have no clue what it was, but it was a man with softball boobs and full drag queen makeup. Why is that what the Olympics are about now? I have so many questions and issues with that. I've got questions and issues with a lot of stuff. Y'all know this. I'm very opinionated on a lot of this crap. But I just think that that's interesting. Snoop Dogg is supposed to do the ending of the torch, which I like Snoop. Still weird. But again, he's besties with Martha Stewart, and I guess that gets him a pass to certain things. I don't know how that one works. There's a lot going on. There's so much going on. Oh, so what I was going to say is, the end of Biden's speech yesterday, which we didn't get to see televised, where he's standing in the Oval Office with Jill Biden, he looks like he is lost and confused and does not understand what's going on. He looks like dementia. He looks like not well. And Jill obviously was crying. I don't know if she's crying because she's going to miss her, Vogue covers or whatever else, but she was clearly crying. The whole family looked like they've been crying. And it's like, are they crying because they're losing the cash cow? Or are they crying because they know daddy, grandpa, husband, whatever is at death's door? If not already, Interesting. I want to know everybody's thoughts. I want to know if you think that he was actually in the Oval Office, because a lot of stuff looked wrong. I want to know if you think that was actually Biden, because a lot of stuff leading up to it looked wrong. You guys saw the video of him going up the stairs, getting out of the car and all that stuff. Still not the same person that was sitting at that desk either. So who knows what is happening? And I want to know your thoughts on everything he had to say about how he's doing this for the betterment of the country and to bring in younger, new blood, by the way, who did not have to win any primaries to get there, and therefore is just the stupidest reason to have her on the ballot at all, is because they want to put a female in office. So many people are like, oh, I'm going to vote for her. It'd be cool to see a female in office. Then they're saying that they'd love to have Pete Bootyplug in there as her VP, because it'd be cool to have a gay man in office. They want a female, a black female, Indian female, whatever y'all want to call her, in office, and a gay man in office. So they want to vote for that because it would be cool. When is the last time that cool kept your country safe? Make it make sense. If you can make it make sense, we have bigger issues, because there's no way you can make any of that shit show make sense. Listen, Squirrel Tribe, I love y'all immensely. We're going to have way more conversations. Even my daughter, 14 and a half years old, we watched the Biden thing last night, and she goes, what's wrong with him? That's not him. Something's wrong. That's not right. Even she knows. That's all I'm saying. Even the children know that there's something wrong here. So, all right. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. I might see you again later. We'll see what happens. I have so much to say. Y'all, that's okay. That's it. I love you. I'll see you again later. Goodbye.